You are all Cordray, and I am a board certified counselor. And I'm coming to you today live. We're going to talk about good mental health. What does that look like? What does it look like for you to have good mental health? And like I said, I am a licensed therapist. I am also the host of the Mental Health Today show, and I am also have a group called Keep Calm Academy. If you are wanting to work on your mental health and to find a group that you will be encouraged, I want to encourage you to go to Keep Calm Academy, which is a private Facebook group on Facebook. So you find it, go on Facebook, type in the search bar, Keep Calm Academy, click on join, and I want you to be a part of that. And I want you to work on your mental health. And so, what does that look like? What does that mean to have good mental health? Well, you think about your hygiene and think about what it is that you need to work on. So I call it my big five, and that is working on your sleep, working on what you eat, your health, healthy diet, being able to drink enough water, to exercise. And then the fifth one is to socialize. You need to be able to socialize. What is it that you need? You need support. You need a support network. And that's what Keep Calm Academy does. It helps you to be able to be in a part of a community where you may not be able to have a community anywhere else. So I want to encourage you to work on your mental health, whether you have anxiety, whether you have depression, if it's something that you are struggling with. And if you're watching this, or maybe you've heard me on podcast, on the Mental Health Today show podcast, maybe you've heard me talk about what you can do to be encouraged when you have anxiety or when you have depression. Because one of the things that happens when you have that depression, I just got off seeing a client, had all day clients today, and the common theme was their anxiety got the best of them. And what I mean by that is their anxiety triggered this inner critic. And when you start thinking like there's something wrong with you because if you have anxiety or stress or depression, or when you feel like that you are a failure because you have anxiety, when you start allowing the negative inner critic to take over and you start feeling like there's something wrong with you, no one else has this. I am the only one. I feel like a reject. I feel like people can they know that I struggle and so they don't want to be my friend. Have you been there? Have you thought that? Have you felt that? I'm sure you have. A lot of people who struggle with their anxiety or with depression, or maybe it's just a lot of stress. They struggle with that inner dialogue that they think that nobody wants to be around them, and that's not true. And so, how do you battle the thoughts in your mind, the negative thoughts? We call them thinking traps. When you feel like that you can predict the future, or you catastrophize, things are terrible. And when you think about the future as impending doom, that something bad is going to happen, when you allow those thoughts to influence your feeling, then it influences your behavior. It's got you, right? You know what I mean? So maybe you have social anxiety and you feel like that other people know and they think that you're somehow not a great person. And so you think you know that you mind read, or you feel like you predict the future, or you do all kinds of you should, all the things you should and all the things you could, right? You shoulda, coulda. And you allow those thoughts to influence you. And when you allow those thoughts to influence you, then it keeps you from doing things that you want to do, right? So if you have social anxiety and you allow the anxiety to keep you from socializing, and then it's what happens is that negative thought cycle goes around and around and around. So the thought, that's there's something wrong with me. The feeling, you feeling shame, embarrassment, and then the behavior is you don't go out, you don't go and talk to people, or maybe it keeps you from enjoying life, or maybe I was talking to someone earlier today that they are on medical leave because they can't go to work because of their anxiety is so bad. They have panic attacks. They have the anxiety that the internal battle that they're going with. They allow those thoughts to influence them in a negative way. And so when you have good mental health means that you work on you work on your mental health. And so I talked about my big five, right? So the big five again is, are you sleeping enough? Are you getting enough sleep? And how much is enough sleep? Well, it depends. Typically, it depends on the age, and the younger you are, the more sleep you typically need, or the older you are, the less sleep you need. But right around 8 to 9 hours of sleep is kind of average for most adults. Now, how many of you are getting that sleep? My guess is you're getting a lot less of that sleep. And maybe some of you are getting 5 hours of sleep. Others of you might be you might be getting less than 5 hours of sleep, and maybe your anxiety is keeping you up. And yet, the next day, you realize that if you don't have a full night's sleep, you have a sleep debt. And so, if 8 hours, we'll just say 8 hours is what you really need to have. And so, let's say 8 hours, you get 6 out of the 8, and the next day you get 5. So you have a sleep debt, right? So looking on Instagram, or not Instagram, LinkedIn, you, so you get between 4 to 5 hours. Oh, so 4 to 5 hours is not enough sleep. And when you have a sleep debt, you think about, okay, let's say you have less than 3 hours of a sleep debt. So let's say you sleep 5 hours out of eight. Eight is that's kind of our kind of the baseline. And so that night, the first night, you get 3 hours of a sleep debt. And then by the time Friday comes, if you get 5 hours a night each night, you have a lot, right? You have 15 hours of a sleep debt. You have lost more than a night's sleep in a week. And so what happens when you don't get the sleep, and then it makes you just it affects everything, doesn't it? The next day. And then if you have excessive fatigue, and that fatigue then leads into and feeds into the negative thoughts. And so when you have fatigue on top of feeling guilty or feeling that this anxiety is getting the best of you, then it does affect you physically as well as emotionally. And so getting enough sleep is really the optimal. If you can get and work on enough sleep, that's going to help you tremendously. Now, I know I have many clients who are not able to get that amount of sleep. And so what do? Well, you work on sleep hygiene. There's certain things that you can do. Some clients that I have, they just don't go to bed when they should. They stay up too late. They might be working on their phone, looking at their phone in bed, and that keeps them up. And their brain is activated, and when your brain is activated, then you're not able to fall asleep when you need to. And so I encourage my clients to have a wind down time, at least a half an hour before you go to sleep. So you have a set time that you go to sleep. Let's say it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Then your wind down time should be a half an hour before that. And what does wind down time mean? Well, the wind down time would be things that you can work on, uh, maybe not activate your brain, so you don't look at your phone, you don't watch TV, maybe you turn the lights down, maybe you listen to calming music. So that wind down time before you go to sleep is going to be really important. And maybe have boundaries where you don't look at the phone. But there might be certain things that you can do. Don't drink caffeine at night. It's one, or eat too much at night. So, though there are certain things that you can probably work on with the sleep hygiene to help you get a good night's rest. Now, I know some of you, maybe you have done that. Maybe you've tried it and it doesn't work. Oh, here's a good one. I'm gonna bring this up. Here's a good. Can you see this? So, are naps a good option if you can't get enough sleep at night? I don't know how to. IIDAFGH. Yes, that is an alternative. It is. However, one of the things that I would really encourage you to do is not depend on those naps, because your body needs a certain time of recharging. So think about your phone, and your phone has a battery, and when a battery gets low, what do? You charge it. And our brain, it's the same thing. So our brain needs to be recharged. And even if you are in bed and with the lights out when your eyes closed, that's still better than being up too late, or when you get up too early. And so try that. Try to work on things that you can do, that wind down time. Now, if you can't get enough sleep, naps, okay, that would be okay. But your body needs time to go through all the REM states to be able to recharge. And so your brain needs a certain amount of hours for you to recharge. Does that make sense? So naps are good if you need to, but you really, the most optimal time is to sleep through the night. And so getting a good night's rest is going to be really important for your just for your ability to be able to function. And so many, it's not just people who have a mental health issue, it's just our society in general. I don't think we realize the amount of sleep that we need. And so a lot of you probably don't even have a bedtime routine where you go to bed at a certain time. It just might be you go to bed whenever you feel tired, right? But it's important that your body, now remember, your brain and your body, your mind and your body are connected. And so what you do with your mind and what you do with your body, they relate to one another. And so when you think of sleep, think of your brain. Your brain needs time to wind down. And so if you are struggling with sleep, if you're struggling with mental health, then try to come up with ways to be able to work on getting enough sleep. So, like I said, 8 hours is optimal. Now, if you're a teenager, if you're young, you're preteen, then you've got to be able to have more sleep. 8 hours is right around an adult. Older adult, maybe a little less than that. But for most people, around 7 to 8 hours is optimal. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the comments here. Thank you for talking about sleep hygiene. People forget about that simple yet powerful concept. Exactly. Can you train your body to need a set amount of hours, like 6 versus 8? Yes, you can, but it's gonna require discipline. And whenever we're talking about good mental health, we're talking about discipline. And that is really where it's hard, because you have to be disciplined enough to be able to tell yourself no, or to tell yourself yes, depending on the situation. So when it comes to sleep, it's important to be able to tell yourself, all right, I am going to get 8 hours of sleep. Now, you got to look at when do you need to go to bed, what time, and what time do you need to get up in the morning. And so it needs to be 8 hours. It's going to be really important. If you're used to getting 5 hours of sleep, but your goal is to get 8, then you're just going to be disciplined. So your body will adjust. And that's why if you have insomnia and you only get 3 hours a night of sleep, some people that happens, your body is used to it, but it doesn't mean that your body is healthy. Your body is depleted of sleep. Just like when you think of when you don't get enough water to drink, you get hydrated. Or I'm sorry, dehydrated. When you don't get enough food to eat, you're malnourished. And it's just like if you don't get enough sleep, you're sleep deprived. And take that serious and try to be disciplined in working on getting that sleep. So if you get 6 hours of sleep, but you're wanting to add 2 more hours, then you first of all you have to go to bed a little early, perhaps, or sleep in a little earlier. So it depends on your when you go to sleep, but it's important that you go to sleep the same time every night because you're training your brain, you're training your body to get into that rhythm of your sleep. So I hope that answers the question. So make it a goal to have a specific time that you go to sleep and a specific time that you wake up. And if that does not equal 8, then work on making it. So you might have to go to bed earlier. And remember to do the wind down time before you go to sleep. Don't watch TV if you have a hard time falling asleep. Don't watch TV right up to when you go to sleep. Don't watch TV from bed. Don't drink caffeinated beverages at night. Don't get on your phone. So think about your brain and it's activated during the day, it's activated, but at night it needs to deactivate. And so you have to kind of really look at and come up with strategies, come up with goals to work on getting the sleep that you need. So most of you who are watching this, I'm guessing, have a sleep debt. And so it's really easy to calculate your sleep debt, and that's um, by when you go to bed and when you get up, and then subtract that from 8, and there's your sleep debt. And so work on that. I think if you can get that down, do you wonders. Um, Thank you for answering. I'm a young adult and I'm getting usually 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Nice. Greetings from Finland. Great to have you. That's awesome. Um, and so you're a very light sleeper. How can I change that if possible at all? Okay. So I'm a therapist. I'm not a sleep doctor. Okay. But sleep is so important for your good mental health. But one of the things that you can do if you're a light sleeper, so it probably means that you're sensitive to light and you're probably sensitive to noise. And so those are usually the two things that people are sensitive to when they're a light sleeper. So you work on a couple of things. You work on making it darker in your room. So if you need to get blackout curtains, then do it. Or put up if you have to put up blankets on the window to keep it from getting light. Or um, uh, um, put like blocking shades, or with sound. If noise is an issue, maybe you can listen to white noise. That might help. So you can get noise makers, for instance. So if you're a light sleeper, think about there's things that make you awake. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe you're drinking too much caffeine, or maybe you're eating too much at night. So those are things to be thinking about. What is it that keeps you awake if you're a light sleeper? Next question. Waking up nauseated many days despite adequate sleep. It lasts most of the day if it's manifestation of anxiety, how do you transmit to your unconscious to end this terrible way of waking? Yes. Is it Petila? Um, so I on my YouTube channel, I actually have a couple videos on anxiety and nausea. And so, when you think about your brain, the neural science of your brain is connected to your gut. So there's a connection between mind and gut. And in the neurotransmitters, when it releases too much stress, too much anxiety, and so we have different chemicals in our body that they are natural hormones that our body produces. Like, I'm sure you've heard of these: serotonin, dopamine, and cortisol. So, serotonin and dopamine has to do with the neurotransmitters from your mind to your body, and adrenaline is another one. And when you're very, very stressed, your stress hormone called cortisol starts to um, it starts to pump too much, and your levels are too high. So you could be either too high a level or too low on certain things, like vitamin D, for instance. And so that can affect your stomach. And I've had many clients who wake up in the morning nauseated. And so that's where you have to try to work on what it is that you can eat. Because I know when you're nauseated, you're not going to want to eat, right? Um, but your body needs it. And so that's one of my big five. I talked about sleep, but the other one is diet and drinking enough water. And so if you find yourself nauseated, perhaps you're not drinking enough water. Maybe you need to drink some more electrolytes to help replenish things that might be depleted in you. And maybe it's what you're eating. So try to work at all of the options as far as the food, your diet, your drink, and work on your stress. So, like I said, the stress cortisol, which is the natural stress hormones that our body produces. If you can work on lowering that stress, I think it'll help your nausea as well. So, what you do during the day can affect you at night and in the morning. So all of this works together. So the big five that I talked about: the sleep, the diet, the water, exercise, socialization, all of those are together. And that is good mental health hygiene. And so when you're struggling, when you have the depression, you have these negative thoughts, like I was saying at the very beginning. And when you have those negative thoughts, they tend to influence you. And so I want to encourage you to be able to work on those negative thoughts, and to be able to not just work on them, but actually have strategies and tools that you can calm those down. So on the other one, the other of the five is social and getting a support network. And so I talked about this at the beginning, but if you're watching this, then I want to invite you to come into my private Facebook community called Keep Calm Academy. And in this Facebook group, there are hundreds of people who are struggling, but they support one another. And so if you are looking for a support network, come to Keep Calm Academy, and you'll be a part of that. And I want you to have that support that many people don't think they have. A lot of people feel like they're by themselves or alone, and they feel like they don't have the ability to have support. They feel like they're the only one. No one understands them. No one gets them. Nobody is there for them. No one cares. Have you felt that way before? Well, that's why I created Keep Calm Academy. Back when I was doing live streaming with Periscope, a lot of people from there came into this community, and I want to create a support network for you. So if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching it on anywhere, then I want you to go to Facebook, type in Keep Calm Academy, and join. because I think it's going to be good for you. So that's one of the 5. So I talked about sleep, and oh, hey, Caitlin. Um, can depression also play with the lack of sleep too? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, depression, anxiety, both of those, and they tend to go together. And when you are depressed, a lot of times it's hard to sleep or stay asleep. Sometimes people can fall asleep, but it's getting a good night's sleep is what's tricky, right? So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Think about what you can do with the big 5. So, the big 5 for your good mental health, again, it's getting enough sleep, it's eating healthy, having a good diet, it's drinking plenty of water. So, don't be dehydrated. It's exercising. So, you need to exercise. And then to be have a support network. And that is what I want to encourage you to do. You got it? Does that make sense? So if this makes sense to you, if you found encouragement, give me some hearts if you can, if you're on Facebook. um, so I hope this has been helpful. And again, you can follow me. Come on Keep Calm Academy on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook or really anywhere. YouTube, you can subscribe, Twitter. So all of those places, I am there to be a part of this. And I am doing this because I want to help you. I want to encourage you. And don't we all need it, especially around this time? Don't we all need some encouragement? So I hope this has been helpful for you. Let me know. Reach out to me and let me know. And if you want to join Keep Calm Academy, I'd love to have you there. You just go to Facebook, type in Keep Calm Academy, and you can be a part of that awesome group. All right. So any last questions before I let you go? I appreciate you. And again, I hope this has been helpful. Oh, by the way, if you like podcasts, you can go to my look for the Mental Health Today show, and that's my podcast as well. So I have over 100 episodes. Been taking a break, but I hope to get more soon, more episodes. But there's a bunch there you can look, or you can go to my YouTube channel. If you like watching videos, I have a YouTube channel that you can go to, John P. Cordray, and you can just type in there and you can see all the videos. And a lot of the things I talked about today are there as well. So I appreciate everything. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you go to Keep Calm Academy. I want you to have that support network. Oh, hey, Emma. What's the difference between having anxiety and having anxiety disorder? Oh, good question. Good question. So, an anxiety disorder is a classified, if you will, diagnosis. So we, as therapists, have a manual of diagnosis, and we have to give a diagnosis to be able to give you the right treatment. Okay. So if your anxiety rises to the occasion, so there are certain qualifications, certain requirements that you need to be able to have an actual diagnosis or disorder. But if you have anxiety that maybe it could be not classified as a disorder, or it's just not diagnosed yet. So that's a possibility. So if you have anxiety and you know you have anxiety, then I would recommend that you go see a therapist and find a therapist and talk to your therapist. If you have anxiety, chances are it probably does rank to the level of a disorder, possibly. I say possibly because you could be nervous, but full-blown anxiety is more than worry. And so if you have anxiety, then it's likely that you probably have a diagnosis as well. Now, that said, I want to encourage you that if you do have a diagnosis, whether it's anxiety or depression or any mental health diagnosis, it is a classification, not a designation. It doesn't define who you are. So if you have anxiety, let's say you have generalized anxiety, or let's say you have social phobia, that does not define who you are. You are a human being that deserves dignity, but it doesn't define who you are. It's a classification for therapists to be able to help you and treat you, but it's not a designation. So don't confuse the two. Okay. Does that help, Caitlin? Oh, I'm sorry, Emma. Caitlin, you said you're more hopeful than my actual therapist. Oh, you're too funny. So if you want, I mean, if you don't, if you think your therapist isn't helpful, go to your therapist and talk to them, and tell them that maybe you need a different approach, and so go to your therapist and talk to them about that. Okay, so there is something that I like to do before I end the stream. I like to do, see this? This is a bell, and here's why I have a bell. I have a bell because I want to ring the bell for you. So I talk about a lot, and when I did Periscope, I encourage people to do little things throughout the day. They're micro wins. So when you have a micro win, when you accomplish something, when you are productive, that's a win. Even the littlest thing is a micro win. And so when you can tell me what you've done today, maybe it was getting out of bed, it could be doing the dishes, it could be um, it could be doing homework or going to work. It could be anything that's productive. Doesn't matter how big or small. I want to ring the bell for you. And I got my bell here. So in the comments, I want you to type what you did that you feel like you accomplished today. And I'm going to ring the bell for you. Okay. Nagazaru, thank you. Sorry if I messed up the name. You're a great person. I appreciate that. I think you're a great person too. All right. Are you ready? I want to ring the bell for you before I end. So somebody needs to tell me, what is it that you worked on? What is it that you feel accomplished? I saw a Chick-fil-A, a container laying out in class, and I was going to walk by it, but I decided to throw it away. All right, a container. Bell for you. Ring the bell for you. I pumped gas by myself for the first time. Cecilia, bell for you. Ring the bell for you. Come on, keep them coming. One of the things I loved about Periscope, because if you've ever been on Periscope, it's no longer in existence, but they would have all these hearts going up and all of these um, comments, and it was great. I would ring the bell for a lot of people. So anyway, think of when you do something that you've accomplished and that you felt productive. Imagine me ringing the bell for you. All right. Because I want to encourage you to keep working on you. If I can ask, are you a PhD? No, I'm not a PhD. I have a master's, which a master's is not quite a PhD. But I am a licensed therapist for since 2007, so a long time. You tried to find a therapist, just not successful, but I tried. Oh, well, good for you. I'm going to say, ring the bell. You tried. They're out there. So one of the things that I want to encourage you to do, so if you're watching this, I want you to have a support network first, right? And a support network are people who understand what you're going through, and they're there for you and want to support you. So I have Keep Calm Academy on Facebook, and I want you to be a part of that. So go when we're done here, go there. I want you to join. Okay. You don't have to do anything. It's free. It's private. But we keep things confidential. But the people that are there, we support one another. So I want you to do that. Okay, go there because I want you to have that support network. And I want you to keep working on you. If you're not following me on the social channels, do so. And if you are looking for if you were looking for a therapist and you haven't been successful, then you can go to psychologytoday.com. and then type in your zip code if you're in the US. Now, if you're not in the US, I'm not really sure how to do that. But if you're in the US, type in psychologytoday.com and then put in your zip code, and it'll bring up all the therapists in your area. And then you can read about their bio, and then you can learn more about them. Okay. Janet started cleaning up her messy toy box. Started cleaning a messy toy box. Okay. Janet, ring the bell for you. I just want to say I found your channel when I was in 7th grade. I'm 18 now. I watched a movie that literally made me sick for weeks, but you helped me get through that with some of your videos. Oh, that's cool. Ring the bell for you for watching my videos on YouTube. That is awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that because you just never know. So content creators, even though I'm a therapist, I'm also a content creator. Everything that I do online is to help people with their mental health. Sometimes we don't know if it's helpful or not. And so it's getting that feedback is really awesome. So I do appreciate that. That's very cool. All right, so I'm going to let you go. Make sure you join Keep Calm Academy if you need that support network. We'd love to have you. Again, just as a reminder, my name is John Cordray. I'm a licensed therapist, a board certified therapist. I'm actually licensed in 3 different states. And my day job, I help people, literally across the U.S. because I have 3 different states. Every day, all day. That's all I do. And so I enjoy coming on here as well, helping people and as many people as I can. And so you being here and participating has helped me tremendously. And so I appreciate you. I want you to be a part of this community. And so that's why I have, again, Keep Calm Academy for you to go there. Emma, why is it so hard to see our own problem? It's a defense mechanism. That's a great question. I'm getting ready to end, but I can't just end without answering it. Okay. So, you ever heard of blind spots? We have blind spots. So, if you drive a car or if you've been in a car, the driver, uh, when they look out the window, and even in their rearview mirrors, there's a blind spot. And so you want to make sure you look over your shoulder out the window to make sure there's not a car there. Well, a lot of times people have blind spots. It's easier to see. It's easier to see what other people, what their struggle is, than it is for yourself. Now, to have that self-awareness is a sign of good mental health. And so if you struggle with seeing your own problem, then look at yourself in the mirror, basically. But it's important to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I need to work on? Maybe what other people have told me that I need to work on. And so or maybe it's someone, maybe it's not you, maybe it's you're thinking of somebody else and they don't see their problem. They talk about everyone else's problem. And that can be an issue as well. And there's blinders. Everybody has some blind spots. But listen to those around you. If you get angry, for instance, and if you think to yourself, I'm not angry, but you've had multiple people say that you're having an anger issue, then you probably have a blind spot that you need to look at. So that's something that as you listen to others, ask yourself, what is it that what I struggle with, and what do I need to do to work on me? That makes sense? All right. Awesome. All right, guys. I am going to let you go. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all your comments. And for those of you who are watching on the replay, I appreciate you as well. Make sure you go to, if I can point to it, the Keep Calm Academy on Facebook. I keep saying that. It's really no benefit to me other than I want you there because I want you to have a support network. And that's what this group is all about. Follow me if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, make sure you do that, as well as the podcast. If you like listening to podcasts, so I'm everywhere basically. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. Um, so I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for coming. I appreciate this. If this has been helpful, let me know. You can share this out. I think you can share it wherever you are, and I appreciate. I'll be doing this more, and make sure you get the notification, and that way you know when I come on and get notified. You can always watch the replay if you miss it, and remember, next time I'll have my bell again, and I want to ring it for you because I want to encourage you to keep working on your mental health. All right, guys, take care. I'm gonna let you go, and I appreciate you. Keep working on you. You can do it. You've got this, and work on your sleep and work on that big five that I talked about. All right, take care. Bye bye.